What's up guys, Barry Gaming here, back with some more Mobile Legends adventure, and today we're going to be going over another one of the top 3 of a faction. This time, we're going to be talking about my favorite, the Light faction. Not as strong by any means, and probably actually kind of one of the weaker factions in general, but my favorite, so I want to go over it. We're going to do the top 3. Now, this list is interesting because I feel like out of this entire list, there's one definite, like, at the top kind of hero. The third spot was really tough, and we're going to talk about the options for number 3 because it kind of also depends on what other heroes you have because of synergy. One hero that we're not going to put on this list at number 3 is I think is it Gushin or Gushin, whatever. If you have Uranus on your team, he might fit into the slot 3 spot. Do I want to put him there? Not really. Not really. But let's jump into it. This one's gonna be interesting. Let's go. So like I was saying, it kind of depends on what you need. Gushin could, or Gussin, or whatever it is, he could be in the top 3 very easily. Honestly, another one, and this one, top 3 is really hard to do. I probably should have just done top 5, but Kagura and Guinevere, they are both very they're both mages, let's put it that way. The one thing is Kagura is just straight up damage, whereas Guinevere is a nice debuffer. So honestly, at number 3, I'm gonna go with Guinevere, and Guinevere is pretty interesting to say the least. So her active ability detonates all the energy from the hero. Animation, forgot to turn that off. Yeah, let's pause that. Detonates all the energy from the enemy hero with the highest energy and deals massive damage to them at the cost of equivalent to the amount of energy. A minimum of 200 points of energy will be consumed. The skill deals a minimum amount of 230% of her attack, and for every 10 points of energy consumed, she deals an extra amount of damage equal to 4% of her attack. The maximum extra damage will not exceed 400% of her attack. When she uses her ultimate against a boss, she expends all of her energy to deal double the skill damage. Wow, that's a lot. That's a mouthful, but energy draining abilities are very strong. Increases her attack at level 2 for everything that she drains, so it's really good. And then at level 3, the skill deals a minimum amount of damage equal to 460% of her attack, so it's really strong here. I mean, like you see, it's just really good damage here. You'll see the energy's going up and then drains it down. He had a little bit, but it drained down, and it is really strong ability. So her second ability, anti-gravity blast, is another one of those pseudo CC abilities that knocks an enemy up in the air. She uses anti-gravity magic to trigger an explosion that deals damage equal to 150% of her attack to the enemies in the area and knocks them airborne. So it is a small AoE. It's not very big, but if you're hitting it on melee units that are clumped up against your tank, it's going to be really good. In the next 3 seconds, Guinevere continues to deal damage equal to 40% of her attack, so that's pretty solid. Level 2, it just increases the damage there. Level 3, enemies who take the damage will take increased magic damage in the next period of time. And then the continuous damage is upgraded to 70% at level 4. So I do like these little pseudo abilities that are CC, but it is a very small area, so don't expect it to do all that much. Next up, we have Energy Wave. This is a nice debuff skill. She deals damage equal to 250% of her attack to the target enemy and leaves a mark for 6 seconds on them. The enemy with the mark will lose 100 points of energy for every 5 attacks taken. Again, more energy drain. That's absolutely awesome. The mark also restores energy by 100 points every time it is triggered. That is awesome. Feeding her more energy for more actives that's going to drain energy. And at level 3, skill damage is increased to 315. Really solid. Like I said, I mean, just like, it's got a nice counter at the top too for you. Energy drains, awesome. You can't complain about that. And her last ability, super magic. So this one here, every 450 points of the enemy's energy lost permanently increases her agility. That's really solid. Her energy acquisition ability by 10% in the current battle, stacking up to 3 times. That is absolutely amazing. The reason why I put her at number 3 and not someone like Kagura or Gushin is just because her utility feels a lot better. I don't know if her damage is necessarily more, but her utility brings a lot to the table. Next up at number 2 is probably one of my favorite heroes, Uranus. I mean, he's a tank. He's awesome. But he's more than just a tank. He's a debuffer. He's a healer. He's a lot of things here. So, let's take a look. First and foremost, his ultimate ability. It is amazing. He consumes all of his divine power, healing all allies for an amount of HP equal to 150% of their attack. Not his attack, their attack. Each stack of divine power boosts the HP healed by 10% of the target's attack. The HP healed is doubled for himself. So not only himself that he heals, that he gets a double heal, he's healing your whole team. And of course, each stack will of course increase as you go up in levels. This is amazing. I can't tell you how much healing this has actually given me on my team on this account that we have, the Lights Army. It's absolutely amazing. His Holy Shield ability, his second ability, he taunts all enemies around them, acquiring a shield for 130% of his attack. When the shield dies out or when it is broken, it deals damage equal to 150% of his attack to enemies nearby. So it's definitely a nice ability, more utility, more survivability. The shield will of course increase in attack at level 2. Level 3 is interesting. Each taunted enemy grants 2 stacks of divine power instead of 1. And then of course level 4, the shield is increased in power as well. So that is really solid. More survivability, not only healing, but also shielding. Third ability right here, Transcended Ward. Uranus deals damage equal to 100% of his attack to enemies around, lowering their attack by 10%. That is huge, while acquiring 3 stacks of divine power. Really, really good. At level 2, he also constantly heals himself based on the stacks of divine power that he has. And then of course, at level 3, increases the attack reduction from 10% to 15%. So that's lowering it by a ton. And lastly, Radiance acquires a stack of divine power for each attack he receives, up to 30 stacks. He's taunting people. He's on that front line. He's getting tons of stacks, which means more healing, more shields, more everything. And then, of course, he acquires a shield equal to 3% of his max HP for every 10 stacks of divine power. So we can get up to 9%. Another shield right there. And of course, it goes even higher with the last one. The one thing I want to talk about with him as well that I haven't been talking about them very often, but his Celestial Nimbus is amazing. Enemies around him will have their agility just straight up decreased. When you get it all the way up to level 30, it's going to lower it by 80 points, and that is huge. And lastly, but certainly not least, she's my number 1, at least for the time being, and that is Odette. I'm absolutely loving her character. She's really great AoE damage. She has some sustain abilities to heal herself. So let's go over them. First up, Swan Song. This ability is awesome. She channels and surrounds herself with energy and releases a magic orb that bounces among enemies 4 times. Each bounce dealing damage equal to 230% of her attack to the enemies in the area. Damage dealt by Odette will not awaken enemies that are asleep, which is really, really huge because it can kill someone while they are asleep. At level 2, it upgrades it to hit a 5th time, and then of course at level 3, more damage. This ability has won me so many fights in the campaign. It's ridiculous how much damage it can actually put out. The second ability is Blue Nova. So Odette unleashes a magic orb forward, dealing damage to the target, and then it splits. You'll notice right here, it goes to more targets. The magic orb then splits into 2, and they will deal the same amount of damage to the enemies around that target. The skill will come with 50% of lifesteal effect. That is amazing. The lifesteal is awesome, not only on the main hit, but the secondary hits as well. At level 2, it increases its attack, and at level 3, if a split magic orb hits an enemy asleep, it will split again into 2 more magic orbs. That's amazing. And then at level 4, increases attack again. So yeah, she has a ton of self-sustain, tons of healing, and that's kind of why I kind of put her more at the top. AoE damage, healing, great combination. Her third ability, Lakeshore Ambiance, is a control effect. This is where she's going to have the whole sleep effect coming in. Odette sends a sound wave to the enemy unit with the highest attack, so going after the target who's going to be dealing the most damage most of the time, dealing damage equal to 220% of her attack and putting them to sleep for 4 seconds. Amazing, really solid CC ability. Usually hits someone in the back row, at least most of the times that I've used her. Enemies put to sleep won't be awakened when taking damage for the first 2 seconds. So even if another target hits her or hits that target, because if you have her leveled all the way up, her abilities will not interrupt that sleeping, but other enemies can, or rather other allies can awaken it. And then at level 3 increases it by 2 seconds to 6 seconds of sleeping. Absolutely amazing. So her last ability is a passive buff. Every time she puts an enemy to sleep, Odette will temporarily obtain 20% of that enemy's attack for 4 seconds. Every time she puts an enemy to sleep, Odette will also be gaining 250 points of energy, which means more active abilities, which means more damage, more AoE crazy. And of course, at level 3, attack acquired is increased to 30%. So she can have some synergies with some other heroes that put enemies to sleep, and then she can come out with her active ability, nuke them all down, and yeah, she doesn't wake them up from a sleep. So in case she doesn't kill them, it still goes through. So what do you guys think? Would you change anybody on this list? I mean, like I said, I feel like the third spot is really close, and it could really be between any one of those: Guinevere, Gusion, Kagura. I think Kagura might be like more like the number 5 slot, and 3 and 4 is a fight between the other two. But let me know what you guys think. Uranus has been amazing as a tank / healer for our account. Odette has just been the crazy CC nuker with sustainability. Absolutely amazing. I love the light faction, although they might be one of the worst. Kinda. They are really awesome. They have some really cool heroes. So hopefully you guys enjoy this one. Please take 1 second. Hit that subscribe button if you are new to Barry Gaming 2 here. We play other games on our other YouTube channels, but this one right here is going to be double daily uploads for Mobile Legends adventure content. So if you guys want to see more content, more guides, more information, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys next time.